मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, delicious, healthy, every day.
Joining me on this special Budget Day broadcast is one of India's topmost doctor, Dr. Samir Parekh. Dr. Parekh is also the chairperson of Fortis National Mental Health Program. Dr. Parekh, thank you for joining. Nirmala Sitharaman's budget specially mentions mental health. Why do you think it is crucial?
Oh, it's a milestone. It's a landmark moment in the history of Indian healthcare. 20 years back, would we have thought about the kind of importance given to mental health? Would we have even thought that the mention of mental health and the impetus on mental health would happen? I mean, for me, this is probably one of the best things to hear. The fact that infrastructural support is promised, the fact that we will have another NIMHANS approach, which basically means from infrastructure to intervention. And most importantly, this is going to translate into a future where mental health will be prioritized and healthcare providers, including private sector, will also have to support the initiatives by the government policies as they continue to prioritize mental health. And I think it's a very, very, very welcome step.
Dr. Parekh, what do you think are the 2 or probably 3 big takeaways when Nirmala Sitharaman? Please elaborate about the push that she has brought in her budget speech.
So if we allocate funds,
okay,
we recognize the importance. We talk about the youth, and one of the strongest pillars for youth success is going to be mental health.
Correct.
By allocating infrastructure, it's not merely an intervention. You are creating brick and mortar infrastructure, which will raise the bar of access to mental health. It is going to raise the bar of acceptance of mental health. And this will also then shape way to a long-term resilience of young people, overall well-being, quality of life. This is how you build a healthy India, by prioritizing mental health. And the fact is, mental health.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the Monday edition of This Is Exclusive with me, Shavin Sen. Tonight, we once again put the spotlight on a story that we have been following very closely over the last several weeks. This is the story about 18 Indians who have been stuck in a vessel in Iran with absolutely no answers really coming in from the government of India, or for that matter, even the Iranian authorities. Just imagine the situation, ladies and gentlemen. 18 sailors stuck in one vessel. Some of them have been taken into custody. Tonight, not one, but multiple testimonies put together to tell you the story of these 18 sailers who are now in the custody of the Iranians. All this and much more in this edition of This Is Exclusive. But up first, let me take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Aviation Group writes explosive letter on Boeing 787 fleet after AI 171 similar engine lock reported today on AI 132.
ये नारावाने जी का मेमोर है।
Rahul Gandhi quotes ex-army chief's memoir. Rajnath Singh objects massive face-off in parliament.
स्टेटमेंट आया है जिसमें उन्होंने खेल भावना को लेकर कहा है, तो हम पूरी तरह आईसीसी से सहमत हैं। और लेकिन हम बीसीसीआई इस पर भी कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करेगी जब तक आईसीसी से हमारी बातचीत ना हो जाए।
BCCI says Team India will travel to Sri Lanka even after Pakistan's boycott.
हमारा बेटा विजय कुमार विलियंट रोड शिप पर कैप्टन पद पर तैनात है। ईरान ने जो है बंधक बना हुआ है। प्रधानमंत्री जो है और जय विदेश मंत्री से जल्दी से जल्दी हमारे बच्चों को छुड़वाकर भारत देश में लाया जाए।
Families of stranded Indian seafarers in Iran urge Prime Minister Modi for urgent intervention, says conditions inside seized vessel worsening by the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story about 18 seafarers who have been stuck in Iran since December. The deteriorating condition of the detained vessel MT Valiant Roar has now sparked serious concern as family of 18 Indian seafarers plead for urgent intervention. Now, with engines and generators defunct, sanitation collapsed and all communication cut off, families fear for their loved ones' safety. Intercepted by Iran's Revolutionary Guard in December, the vessel remains in custody, raising one pressing question: will the authorities finally act? Ladies and gentlemen, back in the month of December is when they were taken into custody. It seems there were charges that were leveled against them, and the charges were of diesel smuggling. But thereafter, there has been absolutely no communication that has taken place between the family members and the company owner. MT Valiant Roar is basically a vessel that is owned by a Dubai-based company, a company that we have also tried getting in touch over the last several weeks. But there has been absolutely no response that has come in. Over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to take you through each of the testimonies to get you a sense of the ordeal that the family members are facing.
Fresh alarm bells are ringing over the deteriorating condition of the vessel Mount Valiant Roar, with families of 16 detained Indian seafarers urgently seeking emergency evacuation. The families have appealed directly to PM Narendra Modi, urging immediate intervention to ensure the safety and repatriation of their loved ones. Communication with the crew has remained cut off since the vessel was intercepted, deepening anxiety and uncertainty among the family members back home. Sources speaking exclusively to Republic TV reveal that the condition of the ship has worsened significantly, making it unsafe for the crew to remain on board.
हमारा बेटा विजय कुमार विलियंट रोड शिप पर कैप्टन पद पर तैनात है। वो पिछले 8 दिसंबर से और 2025 तक ईरान ने जो है बंधक बना हुआ है और उसके 15 साथी भी भारतीय उनके साथ हैं। हमने बार बार प्रधानमंत्री और विदेश मंत्री से प्रार्थना की है कि इनको 16 के 16 भारतीयों को जल्दी से जल्दी ईरान के बंधक से छुटवाकर जल्दी हमारे भारत देश में लाया जाए।
हाँ जी, सरकार से मेरी एक बार है कि मेरा बेटा विजय और उसके सब साथी घर पर आएँ जल्दी से जल्दी अपने बच्चों के पास, ताकि उसके माँ बाप और बच्चे रो का बहुत बुरा हाल है, ताकि वे हमारे से देखे नहीं जाए।
मेरे फादर का नाम कैप्टन विजय कुमार, वो एक प्रोफेशनल इंडियन सीफेयर है। उन्हें 2 महीने पहले ईरान में डिटेन किया गया है। वे सिर्फ अपनी ड्यूटी निभा रहे थे। ये मेरे लिए और मेरे परिवार के लिए बहुत स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन है। मैं उन्हें बहुत मिस करता हूँ। मैं माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी से यही रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि उन्हें अपने घर जल्द से जल्द पाया जाए।
मेरे बेटे का नाम मंजूर अहमद अंसारी है। ओलियन रोड में शिप में काम कर रहा था। वहाँ से ईरान वाले लोग पकड़कर ले जाके जेल में डाल दिए हैं। मोदी जी से निवेदन है कि बच्चे लोग को जल्द से जल्द छुड़वाइए।
8 दिसंबर 2025 को मेरे हस्बैंड का जहाज़ ईरान वालों ने किडनैप किया। 1 महीना तक उन लोग को जहाज़ में रखे। उसके बाद 6 जनवरी 2026 को 12 लोगों को किसी बहाने से बोले आप ले चलते हैं। उन लोगों को ले गए, जेल में डाल दिए 12 लोग को, और 6 लोग जो है शिप पे अनबोर्ड हैं। और ईरान वालों ने गलत तरीके से इल्ज़ाम लगाए हैं कि इनके जहाज़ में डीजल का स्मगलिंग चल रहा था, जो कि सरासर एकदम गलत है। कुछ भी नहीं पाया गया है। मेरा जो है अपने गवर्नमेंट प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी से और विदेश मंत्री एस जयशंकर सिंह से मेरा विनम्र निवेदन है कि हम लोगों की सुनवाई की जाए।
मेरे बड़े भैया मसूद आलम वेलियंट रोर नाम करके एक शिप है, उस पर काम करते हैं। उस शिप को ईरानी नेवी वाले ने 8 दिसंबर से ही अरेस्ट करके लेकर चले गए हैं। हमने अपने प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी से और डॉक्टर जयशंकर जी से कितनी बार गुहार लगाया, लेकिन अभी तक कोई मदद नहीं मिला है हम लोगों को।
जब जहाज़ दुबई से चली 8/12/25 को इंटरनेशनल वाटर से ईरान के नेवी ने गोली बारी करते हुए जहाज़ को किडनैप कर लिया। किडनैप करके सभी जितने क्रू मेंबर थे उनको बंधक बना लिया। उस पर 18 मेंबर हैं। एक श्रीलंका के हैं, एक बांग्लादेश के हैं, 16 हमारे भारतीय मेंबर हैं, जो 1 महीने तक उनको शिप पर ही बंधक बना के रखा।
मैं मुकेश मेहता गाजियाबाद से निवेदन कर रहा हूँ कि जिन 16 क्रू मेंबर को ईरान में हिरासत में रखा गया है और जिनकी 2 महीने से कोई सुनवाई नहीं हो रही है, यहाँ हमने भारत के प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी एवं विदेश मंत्री डॉक्टर जयशंकर को भी हमने सूचना दी थी। और आज हम दोबारा फिर अपील कर रहे हैं उनसे कि आप इस मामले में हस्तक्षेप करके हमारे बेटे व अन्य क्रू मेंबर को सकुशल घर भिजवाने की कोशिश करें।
मेरा नाम सुशील कुमार है। मेरे भाई का नाम विशाल कुमार है। वो मर्चेंट नेवी में जॉब करते हैं और जिस शिप में काम करते हैं उसका नाम है MT वैलियंट रोवर। उसमें कुल 18 लोग मौजूद थे। वह इस समय ईरान में फंसे हुए हैं। मेरा भारत सरकार और विदेश मंत्री जी से निवेदन है कि वह जल्द से जल्द उन्हें भारत वापस लाएं।
The vessel's main engine and generators have completely failed due to the lack of spare parts, leaving it without essential power. Basic sanitation has also collapsed. Toilets and non-functional hygienic conditions on board have deteriorated sharply, triggering serious safety concerns. But despite repeated appeals over the past several weeks, families claim no positive response has come from the authorities or diplomatic channels so far. The vessels was intercepted on December 8, 2025 in international waters near the UAE's Dibba port, after which that 16 Indian crew members were taken into custody by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Well, in fact, it's been almost 2 months since they've actually been detained. And what is even more shocking is that they've been in that same very vessel. Some of them have been taken into custody. Now, in fact, we've reached out to the family members, and after much persuasion, we've finally been able to reach out to those who have been detained. Now, it appears that the condition inside the vessel is only worsening by every passing hour, with no perhaps access to food, water, and that is the reason why they're making yet another appeal. Now, this is the appeal that they're making to the government of India with regards to urgent intervention. These are the crew members on your screen. Well, in fact, we're going to play this video out where they're essentially playing out what they're making their appeal and the fact that how they are in a dire situation right now.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर हम वेसल वैलियंट रोर से बोल रहे हैं, जो वेसल पिछले 1 महीने से डिटेन किया हुआ है यहाँ पे ईरान में, और ये हमें भी नहीं पता हमें डिटेन क्यों किया गया है अभी तक। और हमारे 10 लोगों को 6 तारीख को यहाँ से उठा के ले गए थे लोग, और अभी तक उनके बारे में नहीं पता है वो लोग कहाँ हैं। हमारा जहाज़ पे सर खाना पानी और फ्यूल सब ख़त्म हो रहा है सर, और खाने के लिए ना खाना बचा है ना पीने के लिए पानी है सर। तो हमारी भारत सरकार से ये रिक्वेस्ट है कि हमें जल्दी से जल्दी यहाँ से निकालें सर, और ये विनती है सर सब लोगों की आपसे। थैंक यू वेरी मच। और 18 मेंबर हैं सर हम टोटल, जिसमें 16 इंडियन है, 1 श्रीलंकन, 1 बांग्लादेशी सर। थैंक यू।
హలో సార్, నా పేరు పూర్తి దివాకర్ సార్. నేను ఇక్కడ మర్చెంట్ నేవీ జాబ్ చేస్తున్నాను సీ ఫీల్డ్లో. ఇక్కడ నెల రోజుల నుంచి మేము ఇరాన్లో అరెస్ట్ అయిపోయాము సార్. మా దగ్గర దొంగ డీజిల్ ఉందని చెప్పేసి మమ్మల్ని అరెస్ట్ చేశారు. అలాగే మొత్తం 18 మంది మేము, దాంట్లో 16 మంది ఇండియన్ క్రూ, ఒకడు బంగ్లాదేశీ, ఒకడు శ్రీలంక. ఇప్పుడు 10 మందిని తీసుకెళ్ళి జైల్లో పెట్టేసి ఉన్నారు సార్. మా కంపెనీ ఏమంటే ఏం రియాక్షన్ తీసుకోవటం లేదు. ఒకరు మీరే కాపాడండి సార్. మా షిప్ పేరు వచ్చి వ్యాలెంట్ రోర్, మా కంపెనీ పేరు వచ్చి గ్లోరీ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ పీవీటీ లిమిటెడ్.
Well, in fact, joining us on this broadcast is Rituraj Singh, son of Anil Singh. Vinod Kumar, he's the brother of Captain Vijay. Shivani, sister of Ketan Mehta. Rituraj, I want to first ask you, you've been with me over the last several weeks. First, I want to begin by asking you, any further development? We've taken up this matter several times. We've reached out to the Ministry of External Affairs, but we haven't also heard even from the company. What's the current situation like?
Thank you for reaching out. So from the company, there has been no update. The Embassy of India, we were told that they had consular access around 2 weeks ago. But even then, they indirectly said that the Embassy of India cannot take any actions directly. The pressure must come from the Delhi directly to have any effect. The conditions that all the members are living in is very serious. The 10 people who are in jail, they have been in the same clothes for almost around 1 month. They have been asking the company and the agents to at least arrange some clothes and some essentials for them to live in there. But there have been no response from the company or from the Iran side too. Whether we message or call any managers from the company, they don't receive calls, they don't reply to any of the messages. But the India government also have not taken any serious steps to, control the situations there. So we are hoping that after all these months, the government takes any serious actions and
right.
Yes.
Vinod, if I can also bring in, because you've taken up this matter several times with the authorities concerned. Were you able to speak to your own brother? What are they saying in terms of the communication coming in from the Iranians?
See, as I told before, there is no clear communication from anyone. They are all waiting. They are saying that the issue is subjudicial. And nothing from the Iranian side. They have been asking, in fact, the last message what I got was that the vessel is in a bad shape, the generators and everything has been conked off. It's not working. The main engine was already dead. And its toilets, everything, as I said before, is all of them are non-functional at the moment, including the life-saving appliances and the firefighting appliances. They are also dead. So they will not be able to do anything in case there is any emergency on board. I requested the authorities, I requested the embassy to basically evacuate them from the vessel and take them to a safer place, at least, because the ship is not a safe place anymore. Same thing, I sent a message to the operators too, but nothing from the operators as well. Operators, as I said, in fact, the Rituraj has just mentioned, they don't even pick the calls. They don't pick the call. They don't reply to any of our messages. They are like, it seems like they have totally abandoned the vessel. and as in fact there have been 3 crew members, which we came to know later on that from the same company, they are there. They were taken they were taken in prison for the same charges, and they are still in prison for last 2.5 years. Cases still, they said it was same diesel smuggling. I don't know whether it was proved, not proved. I am not sure about that. But three crew members. So basically, the operator is a repeated offender. I don't know what we are doing.
You know, that's quite a serious concern. You are saying that multiple messages have actually been sent across and there has been no response. Shivani, I want to also bring in you. Shivani is the sister of Ketan Mehta. I just saw the video that has come in from inside the vessel, and the fact that they are saying that they do not have any groceries, there's no water that is available, and the fact that they aren't in a position to even communicate with anyone. Shivani, I want you to tell whoever is watching us tonight that what's the condition of your brother, and more importantly, has there been any response to all the pleas that you have made so far?
They have been detained for almost 2 months. I spoke to my brother recently. He said that
Shivani, can you hear me? Shivani, am I audible? We seem to have lost that line, audio line with the...
I spoke to my brother recently. He told me that conditions are inside very extremely bad. During cold weathers, they do not have any proper clothes, or they do not getting proper food. And I have sent multiple emails through social media. I connect through social media and Twitter, but no response.
When you say, in fact, Vinod, I just want to quickly get a point from you here. When you say there has been absolutely no response, have you all made an attempt to at least reach out to the Ministry of External Affairs here in the national capital and hoping that they would be in a position to help you out on this entire issue? Because the allegations that the Iranians are leveling, they're serious in nature. They're saying that the crew members and the company involved here, they were involved in diesel smuggling.
Yes, we have reached out to the Ministry of External Affairs. Mr. Anand Prakash, he is the Joint Secretary of PI, JS PI. So we have reached out to him. I have called him. I have spoken to him various times. Basically, even yesterday I had a word with him. He said, we are working it out. We are actually in touch with the US, UAE consulates as well. The UAE consulates are basically pressurizing the operators to do something, but from their side regarding the release of the crew or something, nothing as such. They say it is subjudicial. And when I said a ship being hijacked from international waters, how can that go subjudicial? I mean, it is a clear case of, and if you want to take it subjudicial, you take the vessel and the cargo. That the crew is not cargo. I mean, crew cannot be taken. They are hostages. They should be released at least.
Vinod, in fact, I believe that you all have also filed a plea in the court, a matter that we're going to track very closely. Thank you very much, Shivani, Rituraj and Vinod for joining us on this broadcast, a story that we'll be tracking very, very closely. Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. Coming up, trending on the other side.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
अरे टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी प्रोवुड का प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, लो एमिशन है, हाई डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी, टर्माइट एंड बोरो रेजिस्टेंट भी है। यानी ये है जहां नो टेंशन वहां।
प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या
अरे मेरे राजा
राजा आरती और मसाला
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
D is data. The second D is declutter. The third D is discipline. The fourth is decriminalization. The fifth D is duties rationalization. The budget has been delivered and it is deep, decisive, determined and deshbhakt. But those are not the Ds on which I would like to analyze and parse the budget. I have another 6 Ds in mind, which have come through loud and clear in this budget that Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman presented for the record 9th time. The first D is data, incentivizing the digital economy with tax holidays and incentives aimed at locating data centers within our national boundaries, providing digital infrastructure and emerging tech ecosystems, a huge push to make India a trusted global data and computational hub. The second D is declutter. There are a variety of ways in which ease of doing business, regulatory simplification, and reduced compliance burden will streamline approvals to lower friction for businesses and accelerate private investment. The third D is discipline. Fiscal credibility is about commitment to fiscal consolidation, and the deficit targets are tighter still and being delivered. There is responsible borrowing to assure markets, investors, and rating agencies. Remember, India, as a top 5 economy, is being watched across the world. The fourth is decriminalization, which means trust-based governance, rationalization of tax penalties, and removal of most criminal provisions for procedural or minor compliance failures, shifting from fear to facilitation. The fifth D is duties rationalization. Strategic industrial policy has targeted reduction of custom duties in priority sectors such as critical minerals, clean energy components, and the vital nuclear supply chain to support domestic manufacturing and energy security for today, tomorrow, and the long-term future. And the last but most significantly, in these volatile times riven with geopolitical stress, is D for defense. Strategic capex and security, sustained and enhanced allocation of defense, manufacturing, indigenous procurement, and border and cyber infrastructure linking national security with industrial growth. So in my assessment, it has been a 6 Ds budget. Thank you.
Joining me on this special Budget Day broadcast is one of India's topmost doctor, Dr. Samir Parikh. Dr. Parikh is also the chairperson of Fortis National Mental Health Program. Dr. Parikh, thank you for joining. Nirmala Sitharaman's budget specially mentions mental health. Why do you think it is crucial?
Oh, it's a milestone. It's a landmark moment in the history of Indian healthcare. 20 years back, would we have thought about the kind of importance given to mental health? Would we have even thought that the mention of mental health and the impetus on mental
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
अरे टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी प्रोवुड का प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, लो एमिशन है, हाई डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी है, टर्माइट एंड बोरो रेजिस्टेंट भी है। यानी ये है जहां नो टेंशन वहां।
प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH MDH मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Joining me on this special Budget Day broadcast is one of India's topmost doctor, Dr. Samir Parikh. Dr. Parikh is also the chairperson of Fortis National Mental Health Program. Dr. Parikh, thank you for joining. Nirmala Sitharaman's budget specially mentions mental health. Why do you think it is crucial?
Oh, it's a milestone. It's a landmark moment in the history of Indian healthcare. 20 years back, would we have thought about the kind of importance given to mental health? Would we have even thought that the mention of mental health and the impetus on mental health would happen? I mean, for me, this is probably one of the best things to hear. The fact that infrastructural support is promised, the fact that we will have another NIMHANS approach, which basically means from infrastructure to intervention. And most importantly, this is going to translate into a future where mental health will be prioritized and healthcare providers, including private sector, will also have to support the initiatives by the government policies as they continue to prioritize mental health. And I think it's a very, very, very welcome step.
Dr. Parikh, what do you think are the 2 or probably 3 big takeaways when Nirmala Sitharaman? Please elaborate about the push that she has brought in her budget speech.
So if we allocate funds, we recognize the importance. We talk about the youth, and one of the strongest pillars for youth success is going to be mental health.
Correct.
By allocating infrastructure, it's not merely an intervention. You are creating brick and mortar infrastructure, which will raise the bar of access to mental health. It is going to raise the bar of acceptance of mental health. And this will also then shape way to a long-term resilience of young people, overall well-being, quality of life. This is how you build a healthy India, by prioritizing mental health. And the fact is, mental health has been the neglected elephant in the room always.
True.
And for mental health to be focused upon, it recognizes that how we are finally at that juncture of our growth as a society, that we recognize that mental health needs to be prioritized. And it starts from the budget, let's say, because funding has to be there. It's a day I will remember, a day I wouldn't have thought happening. So from my end, big thank you to the Honorable Finance Minister, more importantly, to our Prime Minister, who continues to support mental health.
Lot of young professionals these days, even athletes, not just the working class, even athletes are complaining more about anxiety, depression and such things coming with as screen time grows. Like people are getting these symptoms are being reported more. You think like in terms of infrastructure and the acknowledgement of a problem there in terms of anxiety and mental health, this is one step ahead, like Sitharaman has thought that, okay, this is a situation that we need to preempt and maintain our infrastructure?
I mean, yes, I had gone to the Paris Olympics as the mental health expert with the team, which also...
He is one of India's foremost thinkers. What does S. Gurumurthy think about Budget 2026? S. Gurumurthy's reading of the budget with Arnab tonight at 8 p.m.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat.
watching Republic.
Viewers, from award stages to world politics, from sports standoffs to streets caught on camera tonight, the internet is buzzing and the headlines are moving fast. We begin with an unlikely moment at the Grammys. The Dalai Lama winning big on the world's biggest music platform, but the applause has not travelled everywhere, specifically China, which is clearly not impressed. Next, uncertainty clouds the cricketing world as Pakistan's World Cup stance puts the spotlight on the ICC, while BCCI chooses the rules over reactions. Now then comes Olympic icon Mary Kom breaking her silence after facing massive backlash, offering clarity this time and an apology over remarks that triggered a social media storm. Now viewers, we also bring you disturbing visuals from Noida. This is where harassment on city roads has now gone viral, yet again raising serious questions about fear, safety and accountability. And finally, in the Pune Porsche case, the Supreme Court has now granted bail to 3 accused linked to alleged evidence tampering, reopening debates on privilege and justice. All this and more lined up for you tonight. I am Ishita Mitra and you're watching Trending. Let's get started. And now viewers, a top focus at this hour, from spiritual stages to the world's biggest music platform, history just dropped. Dalai Lama has won a Grammy Award, adding a global cultural honor to his legacy. Now his album, in fact, Inner World has got this honor on the world stage for Best Spoken World Album, marking a rare moment where spirituality meets mainstream global recognition. Now viewers, at 90, the Tibetan spiritual leader becomes one of the oldest Grammy winners, proving that impact does not need charts, it needs meaning. The album features teachings, reflections and messages of compassion spoken over music by international artists. And this win, you see, isn't just about politics, it's about voice, it's about resonance, it's about a message that traveled from monasteries to Grammys, but China does not seem happy about it, it seems. Now joining us live is Yeshi Dawa, senior researcher from McLeod-Ganj. Thank you, Mr. Dawa, for joining us on Republic. I want to ask you, how are Tibetans looking at this big honor coming Dalai Lama's way, a Grammy Award for his album? How do you look at this?
Thank you, Ishita, for having me on your show. So this is a great news for all of us. We really enjoyed, welcomed this beautiful gesture from the Grammy, because when we look at His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, His Holiness stands for compassion, peace and kindness. And if you look at today's world, the world is in need of these values, not war. So that is happening because of when we lack all these values, then we have these problems. So His Holiness has been working on promoting peace and compassion around the world. I think this is a recognition for his contribution towards these basic values. So Tibetans are really welcoming this beautiful gesture from the Grammy Academy.
Right. Mr. Dawa, I agree with you there when you say the world needs a message of hope rather than war. But China specifically is not happy with it. He says that the Dalai Lama is using award for political gains. How do you react to that?
See, Ishida, when His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama received Nobel Peace Prize, China objected it. So, see, this is how China manipulates the global recognition of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. So they don't like His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, but they are very much looking forward to have the next Dalai Lama. So this is a very big irony coming from the Chinese Communist Party. So that's why they don't want to see the glorification of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama in today's world, because they think that if His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama gets recognition from the world, it is also creating awareness about Tibet. That's why they are putting lots of pressure on international community to stop giving any kind of recognition to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. But I think they failed it. They failed it miserably because the whole world reveres His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, and they can't stop it because love and kindness, compassion does not need any kind of pressure. It comes automatically. So that's why I think no matter how hard China tries, I think they won't be able to pressurize the international community. That is very sure.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Dava, for joining us on Republic and sharing your perspective on this story. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Now, viewers, as the T20 World Cup clash hangs in uncertainty, the BCCI is choosing caution over confrontation. Now, instead of reacting independently to Pakistan's decision to boycott the match, they are sticking to ICC protocol, making it clear that any call on consequences must come from the global governing body. Now, BCCI officials have reiterated that participation rules are set by the ICC and that India will act only within that framework. The strategy, it seems, is simple here. Let the ICC enforce its own regulations while India avoids being seen as an escalating this issue, a sensitive sporting and diplomatic issue. Now, for now, BCCI's message is clear, viewers. Rules will speak louder than rhetoric.
ये बड़ा आईसीसी का स्टेटमेंट आया है जिसमें उन्होंने खेल भावना को लेके कहा है, तो हम पूरी तरह आईसीसी से सहमत हैं। और लेकिन हम बीसीसीआई इस पर भी कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करेगी जब तक आईसीसी से हमारी बातचीत ना हो जाए। ये बड़ा आईसीसी का स्टेटमेंट आया है जिसमें उन्होंने खेल भावना को लेके कहा है, तो हम पूरी तरह आईसीसी से सहमत हैं। और लेकिन हम बीसीसीआई इस पर भी कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करेगी जब तक आईसीसी से हमारी बातचीत ना हो जाए।
Now, viewers, on this case, the ICC has expressed disappointment over Pakistan's decision, calling it a blow to sporting integrity and the spirit of competition. But critics say that the response stops there. So far, there has been no immediate punitive action from the global body, only warnings and an appeal to consider the long-term impact on Pakistan cricket. Now, viewers, while the debate rages on, India is moving ahead calmly and by the book, in fact, BCCI sources confirm that Indian team will be travelling to Colombo as scheduled for the February 15th match. The players will practice, attend official media commitments and then report to the stadium on match day. Now, if Pakistan turns up, the game goes on, and if not, the matter will be decided by the match referee under ICC rules. So it seems it's a wait-and-watch strategy that underlines India's position committed to the tournament. All right, now joining me on the broadcast is Amarnath Bhardwaj, former Rajendra Amarnath Bhardwaj, former cricketer, live from Delhi. Thank you, Mr. Rajendra, for joining us on Republic. I want to ask you, how do you look at this approach by BCCI in this case? They've chosen caution over confrontation. They've decided to wait and watch and let ICC do its work.
Good evening, Ishita. I think what BCCI has done, they've kept themselves away from this controversy. Right. And that is the right way, because BCCI is not involved in any way. The present controversy has been raging, thanks to the Pakistanis' flip-flop attitude, whether they will boycott or they will play. And now finally, they have decided to participate in the tournament, but they will boycott the Indian match. I think they have been trying to play very smart. On one hand, they are trying to tell Bangladesh, look, we have boycotted the match against India because you felt India has been unfair in putting pressure, although the pressure has been put by the ICC, not India. BCCI is not at all involved in the creation of the matches, in the sense the itinerary or the schedules are all made by the ICC, and India has been unnecessarily involved into it by the Bangladesh Cricket Board. So Pakistan also had been threatening India that they will boycott India. So similarly, I think what they have done it very cleverly. They have kept their feet on both the boats and trying to balance themselves. But I think they have landed in a soup, because they will be reprimanded if they do not play the match against India, because you cannot trust Pakistani. What they say today, they will do totally opposite the next day.
I agree
So
with you on that point, sir.
Yeah.
Right, I strongly agree with you there.
The end when the match is to be played in Colombo, and then see how it turns out to be.
All right, so you think it's a right approach taken by BCCI in this case. Thank you, Rajendra, Mr. Rajendra, for joining us and sharing your input on this.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, Indian boxing legend and Olympic medalist Mary Kom has finally broken her silence after facing intense backlash over her remarks made during a television talk show. In a detailed clarification, the world champion has now acknowledged that her comments, which triggered sharp reactions online, were made in a deeply emotional moment and were never intended as a broader statement against men, sports, culture, or any community for that matter. Mary Kom here stressed that her words stemmed from long suppressed personal pain following the breakdown of her marriage and clarified that her relationship had been stable for several years before trust issues emerged eventually. Now, calling for dignity and restraint, the boxer also issued an apology to those who felt hurt, especially the members of the wider male community, emphasizing her respect for sport, athletes, and the values she has stood for throughout her career.
ये क्लेरिफाई करना चाहती हूँ, ये नहीं कि मेरी शादी कभी सक्सेस ही नहीं थी। सब ठीक था काफी साल तक, लेकिन बाद में जब ट्रस्ट कम्प्लीटली टूट गया तब चीजें बदली। इसके बावजूद मैं ये भी क्लेरिफाई करना चाहती हूँ कि अपने डिवोर्स के बाद और अप्रैल 2025 में मेरे खिलाफ जो प्रेस रिलीज सर्कुलेट हुआ, उसके बाद भी मैंने पब्लिक या मीडिया में कोई स्टेटमेंट नहीं दिया। मैं हमेशा डिग्निटी और रिस्ट्रेंट के साथ खुद को कंडक्ट कर रही हूँ। मेरे इस रिमार्क को सोशल मीडिया पर गलत डायरेक्शन में चले गए हैं, जो काफी अनफॉर्चुनेट है। मैं बिल्कुल भी किसी यूथ फुटबॉल कल्चर या फुटबॉल फ्रेटर्निटी का अगेंस्ट नहीं हूँ। मैं एक बॉक्सर हूँ, लेकिन फुटबॉल को दिल से प्यार करती हूँ और खुद भी फुटबॉल खेलना पसंद करती हूँ। मेरा ये कमेंट किसी स्पोर्ट्स या प्लेयर्स के लिए नहीं था। सभी गली गली से ही शुरुआत करते हैं, बल्कि जो लोग मेहनत करके पसीना बहा के अंत तक डिटरमाइन रहे, वही लोग ही सुनील छेत्री या बाईचुंग भूतिया बने हैं। यही बात हम मीन करते थे। मेरी एक्स ने कहा कि उन्होंने अपने करियर फुटबॉल सैक्रिफाइस किया। उन्होंने शिलोंग में फुटबॉल खेलता था, लेकिन फुटबॉल छोड़ के मेरी मुलाकात बाद में दिल्ली में। मैं सिंसियरली उन सभी लोगों से माफी चाहती हूँ, खासकर वाइडर मेल कम्युनिटी से, जिनको मेरी आपकी अदालत शो के कमेंट्स से हर्ट या डिसअपॉइंटमेंट हुई। मेरा स्टेटमेंट कभी भी सारे मर्दों के लिए नहीं था और किसी व्यक्ति